Alright guys, welcome to the video, welcome back to the channel, and today I thought I would just capture the first drive in the budget MX5. I haven't been out on the road as a passenger or anything in this thing yet, so I thought I might as well record my genuine reactions to driving this thing for the first time. So let's get out on the road, let's see how this thing is. Alright guys, here we go. So yeah, first start up, and actually I don't even know if I'm sat in there. Yeah, right, first start up. Here we go. And we're off. I'm going to go to the road that I go on all the time, as I know it rather well. It's weird having no exhaust tone whilst also having the roof down. It's very strange. It already feels quite nimble. I don't know what I was expecting, I guess because I'm so used to my car being so set up with all the poly bushes, the suspension set up and everything. I didn't really know what to expect with this thing, but already, even now, it feels pretty dialed in. Hey, I'm gonna put the windows up just so you don't get any wind noise. Oh, it's mad how much sound that holds in. I feel like I'm almost inside now. Wow, you sit so low to the ground, it's pretty much like a little go-kart really, this thing. The brake pedal's definitely more responsive than it is in the Civic. Having no exhaust note makes it really hard to judge how fast you're going. So I still haven't really done any research on this car in terms of the specs of it or anything. The only experience I've got with any sort of MX5 is I drove a Mark 1 MX5 7 years ago or something like that, and that was a lot of fun. And that's the only other time I've actually driven a convertible. And I nearly bought that car, but I just didn't have the money at the time. And that, I think, was a 1.6 as well, so the smaller engine. Whereas this, with the 2 litre, is quite interesting, I suppose, because the weight isn't that different from the earlier models, but I assume with the 2 litre engine in this, it gives it a bit more oomph. Yeah, the sense of speed is very different because you just can't hear anything. You can feel sidewall of the tyres sort of flexing a bit on corners, but still feels really planted. Considering this has not got any sort of geo setup or anything, like this is just a completely standard car. Like it feels pretty nimble in the corners. Yeah, you can see why these things are so popular. Just straight out the box, they're just ready to drive around B roads. Just feels really nice on the road. It's basically days like today that this car's made for as well, really. Sun's out, so you put the top down, go for a little cruise. So I can imagine this thing with a more supportive seat, like maybe some coilovers and I guess some sort of geo setup, this thing would be unbelievably fun. I just can't believe how this car is 250 quid. It's insane. I'm looking forward to getting it on a straight where there's nothing in front to give it a bit of acceleration, see how it feels. Red line in this is only 7,000 as well, which I guess will take a bit of getting used to. Oh, I had the traction light come on then, which is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, obviously it doesn't have as much poke as the Civic. It's a completely different driving experience. One, because you're even lower, and two, top-down driving. It's just, this with an exhaust, I think would be so much fun, just being able to hear that out the back. Like, unfiltered without a car in the way, if you know what I mean. And the gearing is pretty much exactly what I thought it would be. It's sort of like, so the 5th gear in this is basically geared like the 6th gear in the Civic. For a fun little driving weekend toy or summer evening cruise, this car is absolutely perfect for it. You can see why these things are so popular, but I think half of it's like, yeah, you can understand why it's so popular and why so many people bought them, but the other half is that it was £250 and it's this good. I think that's the crazy part about it. Like, what an unbelievable deal we got with this thing. A lot of fun for not that much money, and like, you never really think that deals like that are going to pop up for you. It's always, you hear of other people getting them, so I think that's the other thing that's mad. The steering input is so nice. It's like, it's really direct. So any sort of wiggle with the steering wheel, oh, what's this? It's like a Cobra or something. That was very cool. Yeah, the steering is so direct with this thing. Literally any sort of wiggle and you can feel the chassis moving around, which is really nice. It's amazing how well put together it feels already without any sort of modifications to it. That's all my brain instantly thinks about. It's like, oh, what can be done to this thing? But really, like, it doesn't really need anything. If you wanted to just keep this as like a quiet, fun driver, you weren't interested in doing anything crazy, I can understand why a lot of people leave these standard. And the sensation of speed is weird. It feels like you're going slower than you are, even though you're low to the ground. I think it's probably an exhaust note thing. So we've just ticked over on exactly 100 miles since we picked this car up. And my dad went driving in it yesterday. I was getting loads of text messages from him with how much fun it is. The funniest one was he drove to like a local city. I almost ended up here, I don't really know why. And I can fully see why. Like, it is a lot of fun just straight out of the box, so you could just get lost driving this thing around, and or I suppose just going for a drive for the sake of going for a drive. I suppose is really what Mazda really designed this thing for. It's weird driving a car with standard suspension as well, because I almost feel like I'm floating, because I just don't really feel any of the bumps in the road. It's really weird. Yeah, it's just like driving on some air. Quite a lot of traffic on the road today, but I mean, this wasn't about pushing the car or anything. It's just a lot of fun to just go out and see what this thing's like as a first drive, because I've never experienced a Mark III MX5 at all. I guess now it means that I have at least been in the first three. I've just never driven the second one. I fully understand why people love these little cars. They're just a load of great fun. Okay, I'm nearly back home now, so I'll pick the camera up when I get back and I'll let you know my final thoughts. And there we go, guys. I guess I've said everything I was really going to say, but this thing, you can see why these things were so popular. They're just a lot of fun to drive straight out of the box. And the fact that this thing was 250 quid is just crazy to me. Like, I don't actually know what to say, because it's such a well put together car, and like, to me, like, £250 cars are just cars that you're just going to drive for a bit and then probably then just throw away. The way this thing feels, it definitely drives like a car that I suppose is more like around the 2-3 grand mark, which I guess the market value for these, that is what it's at. So I am kind of lost for words really for how great this thing really is, but hopefully that's given you some sort of insight into this car, and I've definitely got some things that I would like to change if I was going to change anything on this, but we'll see. So again, let me know down below if you want this to be featured on the channel a bit more. I'm happy to make more videos on it if you guys want to watch them, but at the same time, like, it's not like I'm going to do a full build like I've done with the Civic. So I'm very impressed, like blown away. I think mainly blown away because of the price. I'm keeping that in my mind because I'm just trying to relate everything to that, because that is all it's really cost. Let me know down below if you think we should do some stuff to this, or yeah, let me know if you know anything about this car, because I still haven't done any research on it. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and check out plenty of videos if you are here for the Civic, which is just parked over there. Don't worry, that car's not going anywhere. I've got some more videos planned with that thing anyway. Like this video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.